Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Command Center, where we like to play our favorite commanders, maybe even yours, front and center. And you know we can't do that unless you play those three maddening letters, EDH. What does that stand for today, Derek?
Emotionally draining humans, and we all know some of those, and today we're going to learn a little bit more about them.
Yep, so welcome back to our 48 Laws of Magic Power series, where we incorporate lessons and morals from the 48 Laws of Power book by Robert Greene.
We got the book.
Finally had the physical copy. We've actually had it forever, just always
never. We have the book with us.
Yeah, just never decided to bring it on camera. All right, so we got it. It's real. It exists. Check it out if you are a sociopath. If not, avoid this at all costs.
Or just watch our videos instead, and you can become even more of a sociopath, just in the realms of magic, not in life.
That's right. So today we are talking about law number 10, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. So we're going to speak more about, not even necessarily play style, but like people in your play group and how you interact with them. And we'll also throw in a few cards here and there that actually line up with this principle that we're talking about. But first, let's hit that flavor text.
Oh yeah, and so the first thing I think of in this sense of draining humans and some draining personalities is negativity. And there's one card whose flavor text just oozes negativity more than anything else. And that card is Sphinx of the Final Word. You might as well just be called Nope. And its flavor text says, he answers questions as readily as he asks them, but his answer is always no.
Always no, always negative, always just, why are you here? Why are you a Sphinx? if we have a riddle, why is your answer always going to be no?
He needs to learn how to Sphinx better.
Yeah. That's not how you Sphinx. So a little bit more about this principle in real world terms. Thinking about emotionally draining people, these are not people that you necessarily want to always be around, because as long as they are always unhappy, eventually it's going to spill over to you, and you will start to notice the effects of always being unhappy or uneased, maybe even always thinking about how to help them, and this can throw you off of your game just in your everyday life. So that's how that works in the real world. So now how about we talk about this in context of magic? We talked about the real world, so let's talk about how this actually goes in the actual game.
Exactly. Yeah, enough of the real world. We have enough of that. Let's get into the happy world of magic. And a lot of times people want to have that escape when they play magic. So having any negativity and stuff from everyday life and carrying that into your commander pod, whether it's with your play group or at a store, can make that just like a negative experience for everybody else.
So how about we actually talk about some warning signs that come with actually helping people who are always just miserable and unhappy and who bring down the play group. Just first off, you can die from someone else's misery. Again, in the context of magic, if you have that player who is just, they always need help, always need saving in a sense. You can't be Captain Save them all the time. But like if you're always using your resource to save someone, that can cost you the game.
Yeah, and it kind of turns into the thing too. If it's not always other people. This is the good stuff to kind of take onto your own play styles and stuff too, to be self-aware. And you don't want to either be or play with someone who every time they're attacked makes a huge deal of it. Because all of a sudden you turn into having to help them, because you're like, if I counter their spell, I love being petty. I'm all about answering stuff within the game, but if you just start complaining every time someone does something to you, it just turns it into, well, we just gotta let them do their thing, or else the whole game's gonna be miserable. And yeah, you end up wasting spells, not countering stuff you should be countering, or in a sense, literally helping someone in a way that isn't within the context of the game.
Mm-hmm. And it's a little unfortunate though, because I can see this more so with newer players coming to the game, coming to the format. Like, of course, they're going to need help. Things going to happen, interaction going to happen that they either don't understand or just outright dislike coming into this game. And so I have a little bit more sympathy for them, because I was that way coming in. Oh, well, this kind of just comes with the territory. I got to learn to adapt or not. And I feel like you should, as a player, as a more veteran player, kind of take that same approach, take the same attitude. Like, they have to learn somehow, some way. You can't just kind of just cater to them, their every whim, every time you get a chance.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember when I was first starting to play, especially with new players, you put that first commander deck together, you put these 100 cards together, you're so excited to see it go off and do its thing, and then someone stops it from happening. and that can be like heartbreaking the first few times that happens to you. So it's completely understandable, but it is kind of, with experience, you kind of battle through that and have respect for the play that they made, as opposed to just being upset about the fact that you didn't get to do your thing right away.
That's right. So let's get into some, you call it principle, call them tips. If you feel like you are one of these players who fit into this category, who feels like you're either unhappy all the time when you're playing the game, or you feel like you sometimes bring down the mood of the play group, these are some tips we have to kind of help you negate some of these actual things. So very first thing, if you feel like you're miserable all the time, try to associate yourself with people who are a lot more generous. Associate with the generous, but be open with why you feel miserable or unhappy all the time. This will go a long way.
It's huge, and a lot of, I can relate to this in a lot of ways. I'm a really competitive person, and one of the biggest kind of hurdles I had playing Commander is in a multiplayer format. You don't win very often, and if you win too much, people probably don't want to play with you. So it became this thing where I had to get over the concept of being competitive and wanting to win. And when it says associating with positive people, some of the best ways to do that are watching people who just bring joy to the game. When we play with Ken is one of the most joyous humans I've ever seen play Magic, whether he has missed 8 land drops in a row or he's winning the game. Another great example, if you want to like watch somebody's gameplay, Craig Blanchett with the Command Zone. I've never seen him not happy in a game of Magic, and he looks just as happy whether he just got murdered to infect by another player or he's the one doing the murdering with infect. And that positivity does such a huge just job in lifting everyone's spirits.
That's right. So moving on to our second tip. Sort of similar to the first one, but it's a little bit more action oriented. So gravitate towards the cheerful, not just people who are positive, but people who are actively trying to bring cheer and joy to the group. Gravitate to those people. If you're at a local game store, find those people who find enjoyment in a game and find out why they love the game so much. It may actually rub off on you.
It really does. It's the little subtle things. It could be something as simple as you find the guy who's playing their Share Tribal deck and is so invested in all the art in every one of his cards that every time he plays a card, there's a story behind it, and it just brings that joy. Everybody has a different part of Magic that brings them joy, and to me, it really is each individual needs to find what that specific thing, and Commander lets you explore that, but sometimes you need to kind of see what brings other people joy to learn that about yourself.
Yep, and the final tip we have, disassociate yourself from people who are similar to you. Stay away from people who have the same defects. Yeah. So if you are miserable while playing the game or find things that you don't like about playing the game, try not to play with those people a lot because your misery loves company. It's the whole saying.
It's crazy though. Just the concept of it, because we're talking about this game we all love, and the fact that like miserable while we're playing. And this might not make sense to a lot of people, but I know there's a lot of people out there that love the brewing aspect of Magic, but sometimes playing can be stressful. Whether it's the concept of going out and having to socialize in these big groups, there's a lot going on, or having, again, this thing that you put all your time and money into, having other people, you might be afraid of it being critiqued, or if they're stopping what you're doing. It is a stressful experience, and I do definitely understand that. And this is kind of just a deal where you need to find that kind of like happy medium space to where you can have that maximum enjoyment without, you can't eliminate the negative factors, but there's definitely ways to alleviate them.
Yeah. So essentially, just try to figure out what it is that people enjoy about the game. You have to find your own enjoyment as well. Yeah, you have to take the good with the bad. I mean, we played with a guy who shall not be named because we don't do that here. But actually, I play with multiple people like this. Even from my time of actually getting into the game, people who complain when things are not going their way or they're making a lot of verbal cues that like, I'm not drawing my lands, I'm not drawing the cards I want, you keep attacking me, or people keep attacking me. And it's like, you want to take pity on that guy sometimes, but it's you got to play the game. Like, that player has to be eliminated.
Yeah. And in context of this the last kind of aspect of the law of power, where it's talking about don't associate with people like you, that can spiral way out of control. If you end up with a whole play group of people that all kind of have that similar style, it might just turn into just people yelling at each other. Because you definitely need, more than basically any other form of Magic, Commander is completely dependent on having a very diverse set of personalities at a table to keep the dynamic going and make it a fun process.
That's right. And to try to cap this off a little bit, I took this from Cowboy Kyle. People who do that, I know it irritates him, kind of irritates me, but I've learned from him, just hit him. In the game.
You start swinging. You drop it. You flip the table, drop the cards, and you start swinging. That solves everything. Law over, right? That's what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about. Talking about context of actual gameplay.
Oh, okay.
So send everything everything you have their way to make them, not shut up, but just like, hey, this is the game. Get with the program.
Hey, it comes back.
It only makes me hit you harder the more I hear you complain.
It comes back. Play petty, don't be petty. I said that once, and I'm going to try to say it more often. Solve everything within the game. Be polite to people. Be kind to people. But if people are doing things that don't make you happy within the context, respond within the context of that game.
Yeah.
And do it being nice. Don't swing, just look at somebody with like a mean mug and turn away. Be polite about it, but you can still answer within the game.
All right, so let's get to the last portion of the show, the Commander Spotlights.
Yes.
What are we kind of take a different approach to this. Not necessarily talking about what commanders you can play to kind of fit this mood right here, but maybe let's talk about some commanders that make people feel like you're going to bring down the mood of the entire play.
Yes, some of these commanders might cause otherwise joyous people to not quite be so joyous anymore. So these are kind of, they relate in kind of an indirect way.
Yeah, first one we got to talk about, so we're talking about emotionally draining and affecting other people's emotions and their how they feel during the game. We got to talk about the legend with Infect, Skittles.
I refuse to say a bad word about the beautiful Skittles. She is everything to me, and I'm going to take you up.
I'm going to take you up on your offer since you won't say anything about it. So a commander with Infect. I love her. That is emotionally taxing on people. Like that is, you have to die in the context of the game. You have to go first. Like, and it has haste, right? Does it get haste?
It does.
It does.
And regenerate if you pay.
And it flies.
And it flies.
And it flies. So like, you are a problem as soon as we see Skittles hit the table. Like, you are here to not let other people have fun because I'm going to kill you with maximum or minimum 3 hits, however you want to spin it. Like flying Infect, that's just rude. It's rude.
I'll be your friend. You can swing Skittles at me anytime. I'm okay with it. But in general, I unfortunately do understand why people may or may not react that way.
Mostly may. Yeah. All right, next commander, next legend we have to talk about is Grand Arbiter Augustine IV. That's a long time.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're playing this commander, you're only playing this for one reason.
You're just trying to say no. You're the Sphinx.
Yeah.
You're the non-functional Sphinx. You just want to tell people no, and you want to tax people for everything.
Yeah, and crazy thing, I've seen people reach for this commander when they've had a bad game prior. So it's almost like getting revenge on the table, on the play group. Like, that last game didn't go my way. I am about to shut you down.
I'm gonna make sure you guys don't have fun.
Right.
At the very least, I can't say I understand. Stacks is a thing. Land destructions, like there's certain strategies that aren't fun for everyone, but some people really care about them. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong, even though you are. No, I'm kidding. You're not wrong. It's just the better thing to do is don't bring that out as your first introduction to a pod. If you're in a GP or something, or a Magic Fest now, and you go to sit down with 3 new people, please play something a little bit less kind of stressful for them as an introduction. Now, once you get to know people, play that. I have fun playing against some of my friends' Stacks decks and some of their otherwise miserable decks because I know them. I know the dynamic it's going to create. It's going to create a fun game, but not as a first introduction, not as like a, hi, this is how I play Magic. It can make it rough for newer people because you don't know what their power level is. You don't know how new they are to the game.
That's right. So I think we're going to end it here. Moral to the story is if you find yourself not enjoying certain aspects of Magic Gathering or Commander specifically, just take some time to reevaluate, what's happening. What is it that's making gameplay stressful for you?
Mm-hmm.
And be open about it. That's kind of the important thing, is actually verbally communicate these things with your play group or people that you know,
mm-hmm.
so that, either they can help you through this, or maybe you just need to take a little time away from Commander. I know it sounds weird, but take a break every now and then.
If that helps a lot of people, you might just go into a period where you're brewing more than you're playing to kind of get that passion back for it. One of the other things that I love to do in my decks that can help this come out on a closing note is to have little mini games within your decks. I have basically all of my decks have little mini achievements that I try to do. The easiest example is in my Tasker with Villainous Wealth. my little mini goal is to cast Villainous Wealth at least 3 times, even if X is 1 or 2. So if I get to the end of the game and I know I'm about to lose, and I've cast Villainous Wealth a couple times, I will literally cast it where X is 1 or 2 just to make myself feel better. And those little weird accomplishments that you go for help to give you little mini goals, because you can't win everything, but you can at least achieve little things within the game.
That's right. So we're going to cut it off right there. I hope that this will actually help some people who go through this sometimes. And let us know in the comments what you think about this. If you feel like you've been in that rut, or you've met people who kind of bring down the energy of the play group, just let you know these are some ways that you can kind of help those people, help those individuals, or help yourself. So if you like some of the cards we talked about here, or if you want to support the channel, please go ahead and check out our affiliate link and order some cards through the TCG player using our affiliate link. Again, like I said, it helps out the channel, and you can also get some cool cards for yourself. Yeah. So win-win.
Yeah, and especially with the 75 different pack types, I always say this. I don't know where I can get which full art, which alternate art, which foil, which thing. I lost track of all that. The TCG player makes it super easy. When you head down there, you can just search whatever you want and get the specific card.
That's right. So also remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell other people about us, tell them about this channel. We really appreciate all the support that we've been getting from viewers like yourselves. Keep spreading the word, and have a good Commander year. But maybe next time when we come back, we're going to come back with a more devious Law of Power.
Ooh.